Hey everybody, welcome into our second edition of our Spring Sports Show. Today we're going to be talking about the stick and ball sports with our women's softball team and the Blue Raider baseball team, and really happy to get things underway as we start with the softball side of things. Coach Jeff Breeden is here, and Ansley Blevins is here from softball, and appreciate everybody watching today. And it is after a beautiful Easter weekend, it is a absolute dreary Monday here in Murfreesboro, and so we're going to take advantage of it and talk about it, and talk about some Blue Raider athletics and sports and things that are going on. Coming up about midway in the show today, we'll give you some headlines of things that are going on and when we make the transition between softball and baseball. And mentioned Coach Jeff Breeden is here, and Jeff, you guys have had quite an interesting season so far, but the way that the schedule falls, I mean, it is down to the short rows right now in the regular season. You got 2 weeks left, 2 weekends left before the conference tournament, and it is absolute turmoil as far as the Conference USA race is concerned.
Yeah, Liberty's at the top of it, and then everybody else is going to be jammed up in there, and so it's going to come down to these last 6 games. We're only taking 6 teams to the tournament this year, and we voted on that, and I was one of the people who did. I want to take everybody to the tournament, and because I think anybody's got a shot at it, but we're only taking 6. So in these last 6 games, people are going to have to show up and perform and see who all gets in there. The tournament's at Western Kentucky this year, so hopefully we're there, and a short drive for our fans to come up and watch us play up there.
Well, right now it looks like there's about 6 teams that are fighting for about 4 spots, and so these last 2 weeks are going to be huge. Right now you've got Liberty's leading the way at 17-3, Louisiana Tech 14-7, which they're not completely locked in just yet, but then you've got Jacksonville State and Sam Houston 12-9, FIU and Western 10-10, Middle 10-11, New Mexico State 9-12. Those are the 6 that are all fighting. UTEP is an outside shot at 8-13. Kennesaw right now is not going to make the field at 1-20, but there's with series coming up against New Mexico State and UTEP, you've got an opportunity to make some hay.
Yeah, we do, and we got to go out to New Mexico State this weekend, and then we have UTEP at home on senior weekend. But a couple of good things about the way it's falling right now is we hold tiebreaker over top of Western Kentucky, and we hold tiebreaker over top of Sam Houston State. So if we end up in ties with those 2, then of course we're going to get the nod in that. So if there's a bright side of being the first man out right now, then that would be what it is. So we just got to show up and perform.
Good deal. Ansley Blevins is here, junior from Jasper, Tennessee, you're one of the real fun stories because you've been here your entire career. You are a legacy Blue Raider. For folks who don't know, tell them about your mom and your uncle.
My mom played volleyball here, and my uncle played baseball here.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Greg Raffo was your uncle.
Yes. Played
baseball, and Angie Raffo is your mom, and I was going to say was your mom. She's still your mom.
Yeah, she's still my mom.
And she's and you your mom got married after college, and they settled in Jasper after she grew up, I think, in Centerville. Isn't that right? Where did
my
they?
mom?
Yeah, where did
they?
They
No,
grow
she
up?
grew up in Jasper.
She grew up in Jasper.
She grew up
okay.
in Jasper. Yeah.
Okay, and so. And you played softball throughout. What time did they put a bat in your hand? How young
5.
were you? Or do you remember even?
Probably 5. I don't know. Something around then.
And how did you all find a spot flat enough to have a softball field in Jasper?
Hey, it's kind of flat over there. I mean, in
top
the
of
little valley part of it.
What you getting up on top? But this has been a crazy year for hitting the softball for you guys, and in a good way. You're scoring a lot of runs, hitting a lot of long balls. Talk a little bit about the work that you guys put in over the winter to kind of get to where you are right now.
I mean, yeah, whenever we kind of depart and go our separate ways, we have to make sure that we're, still swinging, still putting in the work over the winter. I know for me, I would come back and I would hit here. A bunch of our girls are local, so we kind of hold each other accountable. when working. So, yeah, it's just kind of putting in work on your own time and being dedicated to it, knowing that, like, when we come back into this season that we're ready to go.
Yeah. Now, Jeff, when you were in the winter, did you have an idea this team was going to be as potent offensively as they've been?
I didn't know we were going to hit 50 some odd home runs or anything like we have, but and we really didn't start out being that potent. I mean, we didn't play very well in the first 20 games, and we didn't hit many home runs in the first 20. But when we got to game 21 or whatever, when the conference started, we just started hitting them, and we had a however many 20-something game streak going for home runs, and when we got Bryce's power, he was a power hitter, of course, one of the best hitters here ever. And he's working very good with them, and so we're just we're fortunate that we're swinging Rawlings, and they're pretty hot bats right now, and and the ball goes out of the yard. So hopefully we continue to do that. But all of our kids, the one thing about our team is of all of our starters, everybody is home run at least once, except for our left fielder, and we don't need her to hit home runs. We just need her to get on base and hit triples or whatever. So anybody we got at any given time can take it out of the yard. So
yeah. Do you all have any kind of? I don't know if you remember this or not. There was the Braves used to have a commercial on TV, and it was like it was Greg Maddox and some of those guys, and they were talking about obviously promoting Braves baseball or whatever, and the phrase was "chicks dig the long ball," but in y'all's case, you dig it because you're hitting them,
yeah.
Which is kind of cool, and which is a lot of fun. And do you all have any like internal contests or anything? Any little wagers or whatever between each other?
Oh, I mean, something funny with me and Lexi Medlock. It's like every time one of us hits a home run, the other one does in the game. We've hit multiple home runs in the same game, but honestly, we don't. Nobody goes up there wanting to swing and hit home runs. We're going up there to. I go up there to hit line drives up the middle, yeah. And line drives go out. If you try to swing for home runs, it'll get you some pop-ups. So.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about what Coach Brent's has brought to you guys with his experiences. Because if you look back, he had one of the greatest seasons ever in college baseball history with here at Middle, and then took that on into the professional ranks, and was in the Red Sox organization for such a long time. But what is it that he brings to the table for you guys, and what is his message that obviously is taking root?
Well, just growing up, like you hear so many things from different hitting coaches, and in softball, it was always just like these different sayings and stuff. And when Coach Brent's got here, I felt like he really like opened my eyes to the mechanics of a swing, rather than just like getting to the ball or knob to the ball or whatever. We really like hone in on like different, like your upper half and your lower half. And like for me, it's always my upper half that I have trouble with. And so we've just been like, just the language that he uses. If somebody doesn't understand one thing, he knows how to explain it in a different manner. He's just brought a different perspective into swinging that I've ever experienced in softball. And I felt like within the past 2 years, it's really helped me develop as a hitter, and a bunch of our other girls too. Like it's pretty cool to see somebody coming in and then seeing from the time that their swing was when they first got here into now. Especially with me, like when I go back and watch my freshman year film, I feel like I look like a completely different hitter. So
yeah. Well, you're fun to watch and play the catcher position so well.
Thank you.
You've had so many freshmen this year that have given great input to your ball club. Leela Ammon, Jana Want, she's been multiple Player of the Week, Freshman of the Week, Macy Harder. And I guess when you get them on campus and you see them and you go through fall ball and then winter workouts, things like that, you kind of see things and you have hopes, especially with young players, but you really don't know till you get them in a game situation.
Yeah, and you really don't know till you get them in a one-run situation. I mean, we played so many one-run games. If you go back to our season turned around down at Mississippi State, and Layla pitched. She's a freshman, and she pitched against Mississippi State, and they were ranked 19th at the time, and she held them down all day long. I mean, they just scored just a very few runs, and you got Pendergrass playing shortstop from Rockvale right here, and she's a freshman. And that day you couldn't have told that any of those kids were freshmen. And we get down to the end there and have a chance, and we rally at the end, of course, and we get some hits at the end, and then Tepe gets a hit, and Rideau was playing that day, and she gets a hit. She's a freshman. So, we knew that these freshmen were going to be pretty good. Now, in today's world, now you just got to keep those freshmen around, and you got to hope those freshmen become sophomores and all the way to senior. I mean, let's just look at what Layla's doing and what Jana Want's doing. Think about project them 3 years down the road and what you think they're going to do 3 years down the road. Well, we got to make sure that they're Blue Raiders for the next 3 years and that they get to graduate from here. So both of those, Jana and Layla, are both going to get postseason awards, I'm sure, through the conference because they're both very high. Jana's leading. Nobody's pitching to Jana right now. She's got the most walks in the conference. She's leading the conference in walks, and Ansley and her are up to top of the conference in home runs and all that, and extra base hits and on base percentage, you name it, they're up there at the top. So, and then Layla's the number one freshman in the conference pitching, and she's about 7th in ERA. So those kids are really doing it. And Macy Harder's doing it out in left field. I mean, man, she's done nothing but save us games. And then we got our right fielder transferred from Western Kentucky. She's doing a great job for us, leading us off edge. Addie is doing a great job for us. She's had home run after home run after home run. She weighs about 90 pounds and can hit it for a mile. So she's done a good job. So we kind of consider her as a freshman too, even though she's junior. But so all those kids are performing.
Well, Addie kind of became a little bit of a folk hero weekend before last against Western when she had a walk-off. She hit 2 home runs against Western Kentucky. One of them was a walk-off game winner. And I don't think it took your freshman very long to figure out what the rivalry with Western Kentucky is all about because it did get a little spicy over there.
It always gets spicy over there. And I can't tell you what I tell them over there in this platform, but when it comes to Western Kentucky, but they know what it means to beat Western Kentucky. And Addie did a great job. She didn't have a very good experience while she was at Western Kentucky, but is having a great one for us, and we're glad that she's here. And before that series started, she got hit in the finger up at Liberty by a pitch, and we didn't know if she was going to play or not. Thought it was broke, wasn't broke. She doesn't practice most of the week. Then she comes out, and before the series started, I just said, I hope you have a great series. You're here. When we sat down, when I recruited her, one of the questions I asked her knowing that she was that came from Western Kentucky, and she was a Tennessee kid, was, I need to know before I tell you I'm going to give you a scholarship, I need to know how bad you want to beat Western Kentucky. And she told me, and so before the series started, I reminded her of that, and I said, do a good job, have a good weekend, and she did. She had an excellent one.
Yeah. So. Now that you're a junior, I mean, you're kind of people look to you for experience, and kind of talk a little bit about it too. What I asked him about is with all the young players, and do you feel now that you're one of those that they look up to, and you try to kind of bring them along as well?
Yeah, I just try to be, the best leader that I can for them. I know I've had a bunch of conversations with them talking about how I kind of know the pressure that they're under, because when I was a freshman, I felt a lot of pressure being, one of the only ones that started, and with them coming in and having this big role, and it's a lot different coming from high school and travel ball, even high levels of travel ball. Like it's nothing until you get into college. I know that I've just had a bunch of conversations, especially with Jana, about, I told her, I'm like, you're like 10 times a better player than I was when I ever came in here. Like the fact that you've come in and you've just done this awesome, like we always talk about how, especially like Jana and Layla, they don't look like freshmen on the field. Like they look like they've been there. They look like they know what they're doing. And I think that, confidence is the most important thing. And like, even telling, like, fake it till you make it, knowing that everybody around you has confidence in you, like you should have confidence in yourself too. I just try to be, the best teammate that I can be, and try to lead by example, and hope that they have found some comfort in that, I guess.
Yeah. Speaking of confidence, I mean, a team that has this many young players, I mean, you try to, as you mentioned, you try to look for things along the way that give you confidence, and I think Jeff's 100% right. The Mississippi State win earlier, when you guys go on the road, get a top 25 win there, do the same thing when you go to Liberty, and you guys have a couple of top 25 wins, and I mean, I would think that, for younger players, they think, well, there's not anybody on our schedule that we can't go out and compete with.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that – so I wasn't actually there during Mississippi State. I was sick, but I was cheering on from home.
No, that's true.
Well, I just think that our team, we kind of have like a thought process of there's never a doubt that like we can go out there and compete with any team. I think that since I've been here at MTSU, that's been a huge mindset thing for us. It's like, I mean, if we're gonna get beat, like it's because we beat ourselves. So just knowing that we can go out there and compete with any team, beat some really good teams, which means we're a really good team too. But yeah, I think that I kind of got off.
Yeah, you kind of talked your way off.
Yeah,
no, just talking about confidence with a young team.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and getting those top 25 wins.
We
and,
also
and going to weekend series and talk a little bit about how those are and how important game one of a series is to set a tone.
Yeah, like you had said earlier about if we have any little sayings, one that comes to mind is just like finding little wins and things. That's something that I tell myself, and I feel like our team tells ourselves too. It's like, are we going to take something negative and create more negative? Or are we going to take something negative and create more positive? And I think that feeding off of that has really helped us overcome some struggles. But like you said, like going into a first game, yeah, I mean, going into a series, into a weekend, knowing that like we should win every single game this weekend. I mean, that's the mindset you have to have. You can't go in thinking about who they're gonna pitch. Are they gonna save her for this game? Or, oh, we need to win the second game because their first pitcher's gonna, just stuff like that. It's like you got to go in knowing you're gonna win.
Yep.
And never have a doubt.
And talk a little bit about your position because I always like talking to catchers because they have a unique look at the game literally because
Yeah.
you're the only player that can see the whole field and how has it been working with this pitching staff this year?
It's been really good. I have a pretty good relationship with all my pitchers. I think my favorite thing about catching is learning your individual pitchers. So like some of them I can tell them, go out in a circle and be like, let's go, pick it up. Some of them you have to go out there and be like, hey, like you got it, like you're good. So it's good. I like having individual relationships with them and knowing how to like kind of kick them back into gear or just going out there and calming them down. I think that our pitching staff has a really like headstrong mentality that like I don't ever see somebody get a home run hit off of them and they crumble. I think that stuff like that really kind of revs up our staff and like wants them to work even harder for our team and for us. And I think that, I mean, obviously we have a pretty good offense, so when we can get some runs to give them some insurance, it's really fun seeing them go out there and just be like 100% like free, like ready to go. Yeah. But no, I love my pitching staff. I love every single one of them.
It's got to make Jeff sleep a little better when you have a veteran catcher like Ansley and that she has developed this ability to read her pitchers and know how to react to them. Yeah,
I mean, we've been fortunate since I've been here to have had some great catchers, and Ansley definitely is one of the best ones that we've had. I'm glad she's here. The day that she committed to us was one of the best days of my career. So she's like a coach on the field for us, and we hope we keep her around forever. Hopefully she'll be here coaching with us. We want to keep her to be a Blue Raider forever, so we're not going to let her go when she graduates, I hope. So she does a great job for us. Now,
one thing, there was a lot made about the 23-game streak you guys had of hitting home runs, but another streak that you've had on the opposite side of that, Mary Martinez had a 6-game streak without an earned run. And so, I mean, having somebody that you can put out there, really that you feel like, okay, they're gonna be able to, get a kind of shut them down and get yourself in a good spot. That's good for your confidence too.
Yeah, Mary does a good job. We bring her in a lot of times to close out a game. We try to get Layla through the fifth, especially in games where Layla is hitting, we'll tell that story in just a second. But when Layla's hitting for herself, then it's hard. The rest of our pitchers don't hit, and that includes Mary. She really doesn't hit either, but she had to a few weeks ago. just because the way the substitution was working out. And so we get Mary in there. Mary goes in, and she's going to come up as the leadoff spot, okay, or as the number 2 hitter in the sixth inning. And so I'm thinking to myself, am I going to leave Mary in to hit, and then somebody's going to close out the 7th, or am I going to let Mary hit and we'll just take an out, or what's going to happen? And so I decided that if the person in front of Mary gets on, then I'm gonna let Mary either bunt or I'm gonna sub for her. And the person did not get on, but Mary ends up working the count and then jacking one, and that ends up being the run that we beat. I guess Western in one of those games. So I mean, she hits too a little bit, but Mary does a good job coming in and kind of closing things out for us. She could start games as well, but she's basically been a closer for us, and we're fortunate that she's here.
Yep. Before we kind of wrap this up here in just a couple of minutes, the ballpark, whenever you guys play, is full. I mean, and it's a fast game. It's obviously you guys have some loyal fan base that comes night in, night out. How much fun is it to go out there knowing you're going to have a really cool home field advantage?
Well, if you ever played in an empty stadium versus played in a packed stadium, you can tell a whole lot of difference. No, it's super fun. Our crowd engages with us a lot. They're always cheering. They're always yelling, even when we're doesn't matter if we're on defense or offense. Everybody, like Coach Breeden said, sometimes it gets a little spicy. But, I mean, that makes the game fun. It makes it interesting. If everybody was just, clapped in unison, it wouldn't, it would be boring. So, no, I love getting to play at home. Personally, like when we play at home, like I know obviously I know we're always going to win, but I know we're going to win because I feel the love and the support from our fans. So, it means the world to us whenever we have a packed house, and it just makes everything 10 times more fun.
Yep. You have one non-conference game left tomorrow, Tuesday, as we record this, at Tennessee State. Then you go this weekend. Matter of fact, both of our teams, for the second time this year, are going to be at the same place. You're going to be at New Mexico State before finishing out against UTEP. And all 6 of those games are going to be huge within the league. Kind of give us a little scouting report now. The ball flies at New Mexico State, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I guess we got a little high altitude out there.
3,000 feet.
Yeah, they've got some. We get both our teams get the privilege of flying into El Paso and then making that hour drive across the mountain to go to Mexico State. And but they got Spearman is arguably one of the best players, and she's a pitcher for them as well as an outfielder and a really good hitter. She's arguably one of the best players in the conference. She's gonna be a formidable opponent for us out there. They got a kid that transferred from UTEP. Her last name is Aragon. She's also a pitcher. She's a left-handed pitcher. We handled her last year when she was at UTEP, but we'll see her this weekend. So, and they can hit it a little bit, and so those games are all going to be important. And then we come back home, and we got UTEP at home. I'm sure that our place will be packed. It's been packed all year long, especially when it's good weather outside. So, thanks to our fans for coming out, and we're going to need them that last weekend.
Yeah, that'd be a great way to send you guys off to Bowling Green for the tournament, is come out and have a couple of big weekends, or have a big weekend at home.
Yep.
Jeff, appreciate it very much. Good luck this weekend out west, okay?
Thanks for having us.
Ansley, always good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Try to get over your shyness, okay?
Oh, yeah. I'm so shy.
I think, I know exactly. But anyway, we'll let you guys head out. We're going to get our baseball guys in here.
Thank you.
And while that's going on, I'll give you a few headlines of things that are going on in our spring sports. It was announced a little earlier today, this being Monday, that Nearest Green Distillery is making a $300,000 investment into the Bill Blue campaign, and that'll be part of the Student Athlete Performance Center on the 3rd floor. The SRM Concrete Club will now have the Uncle Nearest Bar inside the SRM Concrete Club, and so you can find out about that on GoBlueRaiders.com. Men's tennis, we had both tennis programs here last week. Men's tennis defeats Liberty in the championship of Conference USA to win their 6th consecutive championship in Conference USA. They will be off to the NCAA tournament with a destination to be determined. Women's tennis won their first round in the tournament, lost to Louisiana Tech in the semifinals before Tech and Liberty faced each other in the championship. Men's golf this week is in Texarkana and are currently in second place. This is as of noon on Monday in the first round. And the way that Conference USA plays the golf tournament will be 3 days of stroke play, and then the top 4 teams will play on Thursday in medal play. And so that's going on out in Texarkana. Women's golf had their best finish in about 7 years in Conference USA, finishing 4th. Abby Lee making all tournament. And also one other note right now, fan voting is open for the Raiders' Choice Awards, which will be coming up a week from Thursday. If fans would like to be part of that and come to the event, that'll be Thursday, May 1st. You can contact the Blue Raider Athletic Association office and tell them you'd like a pair of tickets, and you can come and be part of the arrivals on the blue carpet and the award show that will get underway right after that. So, that being said, I want to get Clay Badylak and Coach Jerry Meyers up as we're going to switch gears, but still stick with stick and ball and stay with baseball. And Clay, go ahead and walk right in front of the camera. Oh, look at him. He actually made the move there. And so welcome in to Coach Jerry Meyers and Clay Badylak to my left, your right. And Jerry, good to see you.
Good to see you.
And not a good day for practice today. It will be an indoor day.
We will. We'll hit inside today, more than likely, unless the sun comes out real quick.
That's right. Well, folks, one of the things that when you come to the ballpark this year, number one, the field has looked great all year, but there was a big change made, and you have turf around from first to third, baselines, home plate area, all the foul territories. That has, God, it's made a huge difference with the wear and tear that part of the field takes in front of the dugouts.
Yeah, I think aesthetically it looks really good, and but functionally it's helped us a lot to keep the space cleaner. It just looks better. We can take ground balls on the turf when we need to, and it's been great. Bill Marbett was gracious enough to fund and to help us get that renovation done, as well as a year ago the block wall down each sideline and the padded wall that he was able to help us with as well. And he's been huge for the program, and we really appreciate it. But it's been a great help, and it looks great.
There have been a lot of things as far as upgrades in the last, since you have been here, including a big renovation inside the clubhouse. You've had a couple open houses where people could come by, and people can always come by and visit you guys. But between that, the new dugouts this year, they've been extended, and they actually have the right level to where you can lean on the rail and be a rail bird down there. You've had the stadium and the nice little touches have really been nice to add to it.
Yeah, along with the Peterson Plaza, which was redone, and it's a great venue. Within our league, most of the facilities are synthetic turf, and we're a natural playing surface, which I like dirt and grass, and we're also the grounds crew, so it takes a little more work, but it's a great venue and a lot of history there for sure, and we're excited to get good crowds and to get the support that we have.
What's on your wish list for the ballpark?
For the ballpark, I was going to say.
We'll get to the other wish list.
It was to get healthy, but for the most part, we're trying to do a few little things. Locker room probably needs to be updated at some point, but the stadium itself, just continuing to keep up and upgrade when we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Clay Badylak is here, and Clay is from one of my favorite baseball towns ever, Cincinnati, Ohio, and I grew up as a big Red Machine fan, and fortunately, from my baseball bucket list over the last 3 years, I guess, I had a chance to meet Pete Rose a couple of years ago, and then is it late last summer, Johnny Bench.
Nice.
He did a thing down in Tullahoma. But talk about growing up as a kid playing baseball in Cincinnati, because I would think there's, number one, it's the natural thing you have to do. You have to play baseball if you grow up in Cincinnati.
Yep.
But there's also a lot of pressure. You got to be good.
Yeah, Cincinnati, it's a good baseball town. Growing up, the Reds aren't always great, so there's not a lot to cheer about, but recently they've been a lot better. But yeah, Southwest Ohio, they were kind of known for being pretty good. We got a lot of good high schools, and there's at least 3 or 4 good universities right around Cincinnati, so it's a good spot to grow up and play baseball in.
Yeah. You took the junior college route before you came here. Talk a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, out of high school, I was probably undersized and not really ready to go to the Division I level right out of high school, but junior college really helped me to get just bigger, stronger, faster, and just develop more into the player that I've grown into today.
Yeah. And as far as your development, you have the ability to play a lot of different positions.
Mm-hmm.
And as a player who's out there growing up and trying to market yourself and, for colleges, that had to be valuable to know that you could play almost any infield position as well as play in the outfield.
Yeah, no doubt. It's the more positions you can play, the more places coaches can put you. So it helps the coaches out, I'm sure, and it gives you a lot more chances to be in the lineup.
Yeah. Now, Jerry, you talked about you had another wish list, and that is to get healthy. Yeah. That has been the thorn in this team's side this year. Is you've had some really tough injuries that have made a big difference in this ball club.
Yeah, we've had some guys that either started the season hurt and we got them back at some point, or they got hurt early in the year. But I think our opening day lineup, we weren't able to kind of keep that lineup intact for very long at all, and same thing with our rotation. But our guys have adapted well, and we've played hard. We've continued to play hard. There's been nothing moving forward at any point in time where we looking back and say, well, we don't have this guy, so that's going to affect how productive we can how productive we can be moving forward. And I think our guys have handled it very well. We've been very competitive. We need to try to pick it up and play our best baseball here down the stretch. But at one point in time, I think we had like 7 guys injured, and three assistant coaches were all hurt too. We had Coach Huber showed up with his wrist taped one day, and Coach Nick broke his toe, and I don't know, Coach Wiz had something wrong with him that day too.
Did Coach Nichols not get out of the way of a foul ball over there or something?
I'm not sure how he did it.
He has the most. Kevin Nichols has the most patience of anybody I've ever seen coaching third. When balls are flying past his head, and he'll move like a half an inch or something.
That's bad reflexes, I think.
Bad reflexes, okay. Eston Snyder took a lick, was it Saturday? Hit the wall pretty hard at Western. Is he okay, or?
I haven't seen him today yet. But
I know he's going to be sore.
Yeah, he's sore. Got the wind knocked out of him. Took a shot in the ribs pretty good. But, he's one that's been playing the whole time, but he's been banged up as well. He sprained his ankle earlier and just kind of played through it. Clay's another one. He's been playing through a hamstring injury. And, it's just, like I said, there's some toughness to what we've been doing. It's, I think what hopefully is going to be our calling card moving forward, that the adversity we've had up to this point, if we can kind of stabilize and get, what we're going to do pitching wise and what we're going to do with our lineup here down the stretch. Like I said, that's what we're trying to do, and hopefully play our strongest baseball here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's and this team has had it's definitely had its highs and its lows, and you know, some of the highs have been some of the most incredible moments in you know, the last handful of years. I mean, you've had 2 no-hitters in the last couple of years. Drew Horn had a complete game 9-inning no-hitter. Chandler Alderman has been, you know, really good, and your weekend starting rotation has been very formidable.
Well, you know, you started the season and you felt really good about the rotation with Trace Phillips, Drew Horn, and Chandler Alderman, and then we had to make some adjustments. And you know, you take one of your 2 best bullpen guys and you put them in the rotation, well, that changed the dynamic all the way around. So we've kind of we've got Colin Kerrigan going on Fridays now and can kind of keep. We got Horn back. Horn missed the first 2 weekends of conference play, and so it's been a little bit of back and forth. So, like I said, if we can, you know, kind of settle into those guys getting us off to a quality start, and some other guys continue to be more consistent out of the bullpen, we got to play good defense and be at least solid offensively to give ourselves a chance, and we've done that a majority of the time.
Yeah, majority of the time you certainly have. This, when you look at this league and how, you know, and how good it is, I mean, when you look at RPI numbers and things like that, Conference USA has been extremely good. We talked to Ansley and Jeff about confidence earlier and how they've gotten a couple of top 25 wins that really help their confidence. This team has had 2 top 25 wins as well this year. First one came against Dallas Baptist, I guess.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about how those type of wins against those type of ball clubs help with the confidence level of the baseball team.
Yeah, it just shows that we can compete with anybody, any given day. Kind of like in a tournament setting, we can show up and beat anybody if we play the game the right way. With DBU and WKU beating them, but yeah, it's just they're confidence builders. We just got to ride those and just keep playing the right way.
Yep. There was the Louisiana Tech series had some frustrations to it. I mean, it's one of those where you can't afford to look back, but there was a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, you know, in that series. But you were able to come back and finish it strong, and I thought that said a lot about the ball club.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of these series we've played, there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
We've been in every single series this year. We just have an inning or 2 where we just let it slip a little bit. But we know, the guys in the locker room know that we can compete with anybody as long as we just keep playing the right way.
Yep. Talk to him about the league RPI right now, as of today. Conference USA is the #1 non-Power 4 league in the country. So basically the 5th best league in all of college baseball. Do you think the league we need to market that better? You know, from an overall standpoint, because college baseball, especially in the power conferences, has exploded, as has college softball.
Right.
And you know, in this level of baseball is really good.
Right, it definitely is, and you know, with 30 conferences in the country and the number of at-large bids that go to the SEC and the ACC in particular, you know, you can be in the top 5 in terms of all those conferences that have all the NIL money and have opportunities to do some things that maybe our conference doesn't. And like you said, the 2 top 25 wins were great. The bad part about it is those teams were in our league, so that's what we're competing against. And it was you know, like I said, to be competitive in our league, but also have our league be as competitive as it is nationally, it says a lot for the competition that we've got to face and what we've got to do each week in, week out in our conference. So. But yeah, I think it could be more marketed. It's probably a little known fact unless you're following it pretty closely like we are and looking at RPI as a league and looking at future scheduling and those type of things.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned with Jeff, they have 6 games remaining. You guys have 12 in the league, 15 overall. You've got 3 non-conference matchups. Go to Vanderbilt tomorrow night and at Hawkins Field, and just at the time when all of a sudden their bats have come alive, and obviously they're good year in, year out. They've got a couple of national championships, but when you go into midweek games, you've got at Vandy, at Lipscomb, at Tech over the next 3 weeks coming up. When it's so important to have your pitching right for the weekends, how do you go into those 3 midweek games? Is it Johnny Allstaff, or how do you look at that?
Well, I mean, you come off of a weekend, and like we did this past weekend, we didn't use a lot of guys out of our bullpen, and so there are some guys that both either need work, but also are potential weekend contributors. So you got to watch pitch counts a little bit. We're trying to win the game. We're trying to win every game, but there is a pitching component that you need to be concerned with, and most of the time on Tuesdays, it's try to start a guy and get off to a good start if you can, and then go to the bullpen and try not to throw on a Tuesday or Wednesday anyone that's going to need recovery of 2 to 3 days, and would take them out for the majority of the weekend. So I think that's pretty much how you do it everywhere when league games at this point in time are so important. Every game's important. Tomorrow is the most important game on our schedule at that point, and we're going to do everything we can to win it. They've played some midweek games and went extra innings on a couple Tuesdays and some non-conference games up at Vandy last couple weeks, and hopefully we can get off to a good start and play really good baseball. But yeah, you're right. There's conference games take a precedence over trying to make sure that your pitch counts are workable going into the weekend at this point in time.
I'm going to ask you the $1 million question here. In this world of college athletics that you're maneuvering right now, one of the things that's going to be a big change is roster size, roster limits, scholarship numbers. We've talked about 11.7 for a million years. It seems like that's going to change. Kind of talk a little bit about how Middle Tennessee is going to look at that and move forward heading into it.
Well, not to get into all
Too
the
deep into the bushes.
There's a lot to be consumed with all that, but the roster limits look like that's going to happen. So that's going to change a lot of the dynamic of some of the Power 4 schools right now that have signed 15, 18, 20 players that coming in. They're not going to be able to take all those players. So there's going to be kids out there that are going to be looking for places to go. That's an opportunity possibly for us when those things happen in the first cycle of all this. But our sport deserved more scholarship. We were the worst ratio from scholarship to number of players you could have on a roster, and so that's a plus, that's a bonus. Obviously, the trick to that is you got to raise that money. You got to come up with scholarships and the amount that maybe our league would go to on the average is where we're hopefully going to fall, where we're at least, if we have an increase, or in the next few years there is an increase that nobody surpasses, the majority of the rest of the group in our league, because our league, as strong as it is, there isn't a lot of NIL money to purchase players like some of the other programs do, and we try to get guys that are high character, that want to play. If they do transfer here or have been in a JUCO, it's because they want to be here, not because they're looking for the best offer. They're looking for opportunities or playing time or the ability to get better and maybe play at the next level because of what we try to do development-wise. So there's going to be a lot of changes. It's going to be interesting to see where it all lands, and we just want to make sure that we're agile enough, I guess, to try to be able to maneuver whatever we need to resource-wise to be very competitive in Conference USA.
Yeah. Clay, talk a little bit about that from a student-athlete point of view, because baseball is unique in that there are probably more professional opportunities to play minor league ball or even semi-pro ball or whatever. I mean, when you look at a program that develops quality players, talk about that from a standpoint of a JUCO kid looking to, okay, what is my next step to get to play pro ball, and looking at a place like Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, it definitely is kind of like a next step thing. The coaches develop here well. Like in junior college, you're just working to get to the Division I level. Division I level, you're working to get to pro ball and minor leagues and all that stuff to get drafted, and you can definitely do that here. The coaches do a good job of it. Coach Huber is working with a lot of the guys that might redshirt, the younger guys this year, and he's kind of doing tests with them and just getting them stronger and faster, and you don't get that at a lot of other programs.
Yeah. Talk about what's coming up. You guys have basically a month left in the regular season, and there's work to do. And you've got 2 series on the road, 2 at home. What do you feel like you guys need to do to get where you want to be?
Yeah, I feel like we've played our best baseball the last two weekends, and we've played up against probably the top half of our league so far.
Well, I mean, you think about the Dallas Baptist series too. I mean, you guys have played your very best against the top 3 in the league right now.
Yeah, and I think we can use those series for sure as knowing that we can compete with the top. So I think we should be pretty confident going into the next 3-4 series, whatever we have left.
Good deal. Talk about what he mentioned there with these next 3. You feel like you guys are playing your best right now?
I really do in a lot of ways. We kind of sat down probably 3 weeks ago and kind of put it in a nutshell, kind of what we need to do moving forward. And if we're going to give ourselves a chance to be competitive, first pitch to last, we had to pound the zone a lot better on the mound, get ahead of hitters. We had to be, and Clay's one of our better guys, numbers-wise, more disciplined at the plate in terms of not necessarily walking more, but getting in better counts to hit. And we've done some of that the majority of the time the last 2 weeks, and we feel like we're playing better baseball. We've obviously had La Tech at home and Western Kentucky, who's having a really an outstanding year, and had them on the road, but had both on the ropes for a conference weekend win and a series win, and didn't get it done. But I do feel like, with the exception, and we've said it several times, is that there's been 1 inning or 2 innings in a series that were where the series was in the balance, and it's not necessarily one thing over the other. Sometimes it was a play we didn't make. Sometimes it was getting behind a hitter or giving up some free 90s or a walk or a stolen base, whatever it may be. And then timely hitting. I think we've been a little bit of the victim of poor timing in a lot of what we've done. Sometimes when we've pitched very well, maybe we didn't hit, and it's kind of the age-old adage that you got to try to play all 3 phases as consistently as you can, and hopefully you don't have those lapses. But I do feel like we're solidifying what we want to do in our pitching rotation, which is a big part of what we've struggled with early on, losing Trace Phillips, who also was going to probably hit in the middle of our order. Not probably, he would have hit in the middle of our order, and our best defensive first baseman as well. So Friday night guy, all number 3 hole hitter and best defender at first base, all wrapped up in one, and he's out for the year. So we had to adjust a little bit, and we feel like those adjustments are at least kind of stabilizing somewhat, and we've just got to move forward and continue to compete hard and not look back.
Yep. Road series at New Mexico State, home against Jacksonville State, home against Sam Houston, and then at Kennesaw to round out the regular season. The good thing about that is, against those 4 opponents, you have a chance to climb, and if you can go and win series, then you're going to move up in the standings, because just the way that everything falls right there.
Right, and it is some people got off to a quick start. Obviously, depends on who you played in that, whether or not that quick start was, necessarily better than someone else's start. But it's all about who you play and when you play them, and sometimes where you play them. But from that standpoint, we're not trying to force things, and we're not trying to climb too fast. We're trying to just try to do everything we can to play pitch by pitch, and if we do what we're supposed to do, it'll all shake out like it needs to for us. And I don't want to look at it from the big picture of got to win this number of 12 of our last conference games. That there's too many things that can happen. So we're just going to try to stay in the moment and play the best we can and keep playing hard.
All right. Appreciate you coming by today.
All right.
Clay, you ever been to New Mexico?
I have not.
You have not. Well, get ready. It's it is a beautiful place in its own way, and you'll understand that a whole lot more after you get out there on Thursday.
Looking forward to it.
Good luck. Have a good weekend. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Spring Sports Show. We'll be back again. We'll be taping on Monday at noon, and they typically are able to get it up on the website and on YouTube channel a little bit later on Monday. But thanks for folks who came by today for all this, and we'll talk to you again next week as for the Blue Raider Spring Sports Show here on the Blue Raider Network.